Story 1. Would I be the asshole if I skipped my brother's wedding ceremony? My 25 female brother, 29 male, is getting married this June. Him and I used to be extremely close, but he moved states and met his now fiancée. After meeting her, I'm not sure what happened, but he stopped texting and calling me as much. And when he comes home to visit, he makes no plans with me. I always have to initiate the plans. Regardless of all that, I have supported him through his engagement and wedding plans. But about 2 months ago, he mentioned to me, because of me texting him about outfits for my kids for the wedding, that kids aren't allowed at the ceremony, but there will be a babysitter. I told him I'm not really comfortable leaving them with someone I don't know, so I'll sit out of the ceremony and come to the reception. He was kind of upset about that and made a deal with me that I could choose the babysitter and they would pay for it. Mind you, I'm not the only one with kids. I think there'll be like 6 kids total. So I asked one of my mom friends from the park if she would do the babysitting there because I know her pretty well, and she babysits MF in the morning, so I know she has experience. My brother said he'll contact her and work out all the details. I was under the impression it was all taken care of. Just yesterday, he texted me if we could talk on the phone. We haven't spoken on the phone in probably over a year, so it was really odd. When he called me, he told me that the babysitter wasn't going to work out because she had to bring her own 2 kids, and they found and already signed a contract with a babysitting agency for the wedding, and it's all worked out and finished. I just said okay and didn't say anything about my back and forth now about sitting out of the ceremony. I texted my cousin who also has 2 kids, and she thinks it's weird leaving her kids with someone they don't know too. So her husband is going to sit out of the ceremony to watch their kids, then just come to the reception. I haven't asked my cousin about her husband watching my kids during the ceremony. I feel awkward asking, but that could be an option. I mentioned to my GMA about being uncomfortable leaving my kids with someone I don't know, and she didn't seem to understand why and said I should just leave them with the babysitter. I never once was rude to my brother about not letting kids at the ceremony. I respect it because it's his wedding, but I feel like whatever I decide should also be respected because they're my kids, so it's my decision. Edit. Some people have said I won't leave kids with a babysitter that I don't know because he pushed away from me. I never leave kids with a babysitter. Not just in this situation, also in situations that'll benefit only me. Hair gym. Hanging with friends. Edit 2. I don't mind if people say, you're the asshole. Obviously, I posted here. But just for clarification, I'm not salty towards my brother. I'm not a spiteful person. It's out of concern for my kids, and I'm looking for input on that. As mentioned, I'm happy for him and have supported him. Story 2. My brother skipped his own wedding reception. My brother got married yesterday, but he and his wife skipped their own reception. No one even knew they were going to do it, except for one of their friends, so it was a complete surprise and really embarrassing, to be honest. At first, no one knew. They decided to get married locally, which was nice because I'm sure most of you would agree that having to travel somewhere else for a wedding is a pain. This is what was supposed to happen. After the wedding, my brother and his wife were supposed to be introduced to everyone in the reception hall. The guests would chat and drink for an hour before the food was served. During that time, all the photos would be taken. After that hour was up and the photos were done, the food would get served and the reception would start. What actually happened? Their friend who was supposed to introduce them instead told everyone that my brother and his wife had left for their honeymoon and thanked everyone for attending, and then the food started getting served right away. The photographer had been sent home. Apparently, my brother and his wife did their photos before the ceremony and took some with the few people who did know they were skipping the reception, some of their friends and his wife's dad and his wife, but no one else, including anyone from my family. Obviously, we were embarrassed. My parents were angry, and they talked to the friend because my brother and his wife weren't answering. Their honeymoon was supposed to be in a few months. Apparently, they canceled it 2 weeks ago and switched to a different honeymoon. They were already on their way to Bristol to the airport and had left their mobile phones with their friend. He had them when my parents talked to him. Apparently, the whole reason for this is that my other brother's girlfriend is pregnant, and they were going to announce it and that they want to get married at the reception. Only my parents had known. I didn't even know. I don't know how my brother who was getting married found out. Someone, I don't know who, told my aunt and uncle about it, and they started spreading it around to the other guests, which upset my parents and my brother and his girlfriend. I know my brother and his wife don't want to be parents themselves, but this seems extreme over a pregnancy. Further, I don't understand why they would skip something that they paid for like this. What I want to get off my chest, we are embarrassed, especially my parents, and lots of people are upset, especially my brother and his girlfriend. There was lots of drama for nothing. It's only been 1 day, but the fallout is bigger. I don't understand why my brother and his wife would do all this. I honestly don't, that's all. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you. Story 3. Am I the asshole for making my brother leave my wedding reception? I, 28 female, have a big family. My parents weren't together when I was born and married different people and had kids with them. I have one half brother, Kyle, 18 male, From my dad's side of the family, out of all my siblings, I would say that he and I have constant tension around each other. Kyle is very annoying, and I am not close with him. It feels like he's never considerate of other people and only thinks about himself. I had a sister on my mom's side, Lonnie. Lanny and I were super close, and I always felt like I could talk to her about anything. When I was 22 and Lanny was 19, she took her own life. It fucking destroyed me and my mom's side. She was such a bright light in my life and promised to be my maid of honor when I got married. Lonnie and I used to sing Yellow by Coldplay together. I don't listen to it anymore because it makes me cry, because I just think of Lonnie. Kyle loves that song, which is fine, but he makes a point to play it when I'm around because he thinks it's funny when I cry. Usually one of our other siblings will tell him to F off, and he'll complain about how I get everything. A month ago, I got married to my husband Mike, 29, male. I had been planning it for months and was super excited for it. The ceremony was at a church, and the reception was at a banquet hall we rented out. We hired a family friend to DJ for us, and it was going great. I had cried earlier that morning when I was reading old texts from Lonnie, saying she was already picking out dresses to be the maid of honor. For context, I wasn't even dating anyone at the time. She just really wanted to be prepared. So I was trying to just enjoy myself. Well, after about a couple hours, I was talking to Mike's mom when I heard Yellow playing. I turned to the DJ and just saw Kyle dancing with his girlfriend. I ran to the bathroom sobbing while my husband pulled Kyle aside. After 20 minutes, I got out and saw Kyle and told him that he crossed the line and that he needed to leave. He laughed and walked away, but I grabbed him and told him that I was serious and that he needed to get out before I made him. This time, Mike backed me up and Kyle gave me the middle finger and went to his car with his girlfriend. Everyone on my dad's side are all saying that I should have just told him off and let it go, and are saying even a month later that I was being a bridezilla. I'm refusing to talk to Kyle until he apologizes, which he has yet to do. I don't think I was in the wrong, and that if Kyle didn't want to leave, then he should have respected me and my boundaries. Am I the asshole? Update. Thank you all for your kind messages. It genuinely warmed my heart up. I told my dad's family straight up that I won't be talking to Kyle until he matures and stops being such a dick, which will probably not happen, because Kyle then personally messaged me on Instagram on an alt account and told me to start acting like an adult and that he's young and allowed to make dumb decisions. I told him that he is, and I'm also allowed to stop talking to him. I said I still love him and that he's my brother, but he needs to grow a pair before I'm ready to have a relationship with him. I'll keep in contact with some of my half and step siblings and my dad, but everyone else I'll take a break from talking to. Story 4. My brother doesn't understand why I won't come to work naturist resort for his wedding. My philosophy is that I don't care what others do, as long as someone isn't hurting or infringing on my rights or the rights of others. Whatever consenting adults do in their private lives is none of my concern. This extends to my brother and his fiancée being naturists. However, I do take issue with them being angry that I won't attend their wedding. They are having their wedding and reception at a naturist resort. They met there, and I understand it holds significance for them. I even checked if nudity is a requirement for the ceremony and reception, or if it's regular wedding attire. It's a requirement to be nude, though, just like all other times at the resort. I've offered to pay for a separate reception for them, however, this just made them angier. I'm not comfortable being in nude in front of a large crowd of strangers, either at the wedding or in the resort period. I was asked to be a bridesmaid, even though I don't know my brother's fiancée well enough to be friends. I moved to Darwin from Adelaide for work before my brother met her. I am definitely not comfortable walking up the aisle arm in arm with a groomsman I've never met when we're both nude, or standing in front of everyone during the ceremony, or being in all photographs when I'm nude. My brother's fiancée said if she looked like me, she would go nude all the time. But it's not about that. I'm not saying being a naturist is wrong. I'm not saying they should not get married at the naturist resort. I'm just uncomfortable with attending the wedding if I'm required to be nude for it. I don't know about his fiance's family, but some of my siblings and cousins, or their spouses, are also uncomfortable. My parents are no longer with us, so I can't ask them for advice. I'm just wanting to get off my chest how I feel about my brother not understanding my discomfort with this.